Ho, 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 everyone. Welcome to the 12 Days of Preps. And be sure you are commenting on this video and all the videos to be entered to win my books. Today is day 11. I can't believe it. You can still have time if you're watching this as it's being released to enter by just leaving a comment down below, and all the other videos, playlists down below, and all great information in this regardless whether you're entering the giveaway or not. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. Now, today we're going to be talking about home preps and bugging in and that kind of thing. And this could be an entire series. So I'm just trying to condense it down to as much quick information as possible in this video. But I am going to be expanding much more into this realm. I've done lots of bugging in videos before, but I want to do like a whole series where it breaks everything down. But the first step is a tiered system. So this is my kitchen where we are standing right now, as you may have noticed. And this is tier number 1. This is like my everyday preps, okay? And this is not everything, of course, but we have our everyday food. We're going to be using from our fridge, right? We use from our freezers in our garage. Those are our everyday preps. And then in another area of the house, we have short-term preps. These short-term preps replace the everyday preps, as well as just any other basic emergency, preparedness needs or anything like that. But this is for everyday eating. And then we have longer-term preps would be things in like Mylar bags. And these Mylar bags can be used at any time, but they're just foods that will last a significant amount of time. So I'm usually not replacing my short or everyday list unless a lot of my short-term preps that I use to replace my everyday preps are things like sugar and flour, and these will be in 5-gallon Mylar bags, and I use these to replace my short-term and everyday preps because I use sugar and flour a lot for baking. I bake a lot of bread, I bake a lot of stuff, and so these I use all the time. But something like wheat berries that are in 5-gallon, the 5-gallon Mylar bags, they'll be longer term. Anyway, that's just our kind of system there. Your home preps are in a tiered system. Another really good example is we have a first aid kit available, and then we have a bunch of first aid supplies that are in, a completely different area of the house. And we use this stuff to replenish our first aid kits. Of course, we can also always come to this in case we ever need anything, like we slacked on the replenishing or whatever. So yeah, speaking about our short-term and long-term stuff, there's a lot of things here that we have in bins and things that will, like it looks kind of unorganized, but like this is, I know, is all lighting stuff. This is all fire starting stuff. This is also, this is like fire starting / like hunting stuff, fishing stuff, things like that. This is a lot of water prep stuff. This is more lighting, and again, this is first aid. This is kind of misc camping, so I know like what's in here, and then I do have everything inventoried as well in a inventory system. And then I can't forget about talking about, kids or yourself, not just kids, but for yourself as well. You need the stuff, the crafts, the books, the, education, anything that's going to keep you happy at home. Granted, we homeschool, so there's probably a lot more stuff that we already have on hand. And I'm always trying to buy books for like the next couple years or something. And as well, not just buying books, but printing a bunch of homeschool stuff as well. So, like our, books and educational stuff may look a little bit different than some other people. But I do encourage you to maybe have some of those like workbooks and things in your house, just in case like, your kids aren't going to be going to school or anything at any point, and something happens, and so you still have some stuff to kind of keep them smarts up. And then we have lots of games. So we have a ton of games. We actually just got this new game. It's called Shoot the Poop. Oh my gosh. Baby Rogue loves it so much. And then this is like a little cupcake game, and these are learning games as well as just fun games. We just love playing games. We also do have a DVD player. Now this DVD player doesn't run on batteries, but we can plug it in to power DVDs, laptops, TVs. We can power pretty much anything our heart kind of desires. especially with this system that we have right here, this is a 2000 watt, but we have a whole bunch of other systems that can handle other stuff as well. But you know, we have a bunch of DVDs that we've been collecting, that kind of thing. Of course, water is also a tiered system. So we have bottles of water. We also have rainwater collection, and we also have ways that we could potentially find water if we needed to. We also have a lot of ways to, like if we know the power is going to go out or something, we just fill like all of our bathtubs and sinks and everything we can with water. But we also have another, you know, again, with the collecting water, we have water purification options and those kinds of things. So plenty of tiered water systems. And we also have systems for gray water as well. So, you know, if we ever have to rotate water, or if we ever, you know, want to designate certain water for just gray water, we can do that. And then we have designated water for just drinking and cooking purposes, you know, so you can have a whole tiered system. I have a whole podcast that I talk all about that. If you want to check it out, and I'm going to put some information down below for my podcast. There are blankets galore, but not just blankets. We also have sleeping bags, which we can use to bring in at any point. We also have plenty of wood. So we do have little bottles of propane as well as big bottles of propane, and, you know, alternative cooking like the Coleman propane stove. We have little fire pits or solo stoves, and then Blackstone with propane. Finally, there's home defense that you will definitely want to keep in mind for outdoors, indoors, your personal defense, home defense. And again, I have videos about that down below. Of course, books for me, lots of reference books. Here's our bucket toilet. There's a lot to talk about with bugging in, you know, like the logistics of actually doing dishes or laundry or any of these stuff, you know, without running water, or, you know, if you don't want to use excess water in these scenarios. You know, there's tons of scenarios in which just the water could be out, but you have electricity, or you have electricity, but maybe you have a little bit of water for a few days until maybe it goes out because you've been without power for so long. Or maybe like in the Texas freeze, the water froze and there was a blackout and a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So there's a lot to consider here. And again, I'm going to have a whole series with this, but I just wanted to give you some ideas. You got to have the roughness, toughness dogs out there too. The roughness, toughness. You better watch out. They'll lick you to death. Remember that I didn't acquire all of this stuff at once. It was little bit at a time, step by step. Again, a little bit at a time, okay? So just because I'm showing all this stuff doesn't mean you need to rush out into panic to get it. Just put it on your list, make it in your budget, and get it little at a time. Make your emergency life mimic your everyday life as best as you possibly can, with of course some tweaks here and there in which maybe you may not be turning on, you know, the lights, or you may not be turning on a faucet. You may be adjusting, make ever so slight adjustments, right? You may be cooking on your Blackstone instead of inside your house, or maybe on a Coleman stove. It just kind of depends. So thank you all so much for watching. Conquer Mom Preparing today. I got a bunch of links down below in the description. I'll talk to you later. Bye.